It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and an overpriced hotel room in New York City. And this is CarEdge Live for Wednesday, October 9th, with your host, me, Ray, who can barely afford where I live, and well, Zach, overpaying for his stay in New York. I'll be good now.
All right, folks, happy Wednesday to you. We're going to be talking about the impact of natural disasters like Hurricane Milton on the car market because, well, there are 122,000 new cars that are going to be impacted in Tampa. We're going to talk about the impact that then has on car prices, things like that. Before we do, today's show is brought to you by CarEdge.com. New homepage, folks. Beat the dealers, save thousands. Let us know what you think of the brand new CarEdge.com. And we found a bug yesterday that was slowing down the page load time, so it should be much faster today. If we can help you out with anything, use our car search, all of our free research tools. If we can help you buy a car with our car buying or car leasing services, we have the warranty products, help selling a car, refinancing, insurance coming soon. All that and more back at CarEdge.com. Dad, did you know that there are 122,000 new cars within 30 miles of Tampa Bay, Florida right now?
I did not know that, and I'm pretty sure that doesn't include the number of cars that are backed up on the interstates trying to get the hell out of Florida, safe ground.
Well, I'm less interested in the people that are, for the purposes of today's show, I'm very interested, let me be very clear, in the people that are trying to evacuate from this natural disaster. But we're going to focus today's conversation, Dad, on what happens when big disasters like this occur to the car market in that area, or more broadly. There are 100,000 plus vehicles that are potentially going to get totaled as a result of all the flooding that could happen as a part of this hurricane, not to mention the impact on the used car market. So let's start there, Dad. What impact can happen when these big natural disasters occur from like the dealer's perspective or from the industry perspective?
Well, from a dealer's perspective, if your inventory gets inundated and is not sellable, for the most part, you're pretty much out of business. Doesn't mean you still don't have expenses. Doesn't mean that you still don't have employees. Your employees are there, and that's when everybody comes in and starts lending a hand and helping out and trying to clean things up and trying to figure out, well, how we going to be able to reopen and get back in the business. Depending on the severity of the situation, it could be days, weeks before manufacturers can get enough vehicles back into that market area, new vehicles, to get them shipped there, to get them trucked there, however it is they're going to get them there. If let's say only 50% of the 120,000 cars, that's 60,000 cars that could end up being totaled or destroyed. That's a large amount of inventory to have to try to replace. Now, not to make light of it, but Stellantis could probably find the vehicles to bring in there, or they're bringing them in prior to the hurricane to get them totaled. One of the two. But it disruption of business is extremely. I mean, I've been through major snowstorms. When we first moved back to Maryland,
Mm-hmm.
And that was Snowmageddon that year in the Baltimore area. Baltimore had the most snowfall it ever had. We had two major back-to-back snowstorms that dumped about 36 to 40 inches of snow on the ground. We were paying you $100 a day to come to the dealership to help shovel cars out. And the dealership was basically closed for like 3 or 4 days.
No, understood. I think there's a difference though, Dad, between a snowstorm where vehicles were not being totaled and a natural disaster like a hurricane. And one of the comments, and I see Josh here with us. Thanks, Josh. Josh is one of the members of our team, concierge, for the CarEdge team. Josh shared a message with me earlier today, Dad. I want to get your take on it. Josh said something to the effect of hurricanes total a lot of vehicles. They drive up demand and prices in that region. And in the past, there are dealers who would buy used cars and ship them to that hurricane-impacted area, either sell them at the auctions or try and sell them to retail customers. Like, there's an arbitrage here, and I think that's the point of the story that I really want to lean into. Not necessarily so much, dealerships close down from time to time. I think we all understand that. There's an economic aspect to this. Like, if you're in the car market in Florida, it already kind of sucked. Florida is the number one worst state to buy a car, in our opinion, from CarEdge because of all the fees and things like that. But now it's going to be even harder. And I think that's a real storyline here, is that for people in that region, in the Southeast in general, when these, and this is the second major hurricane, when these things happen, it drives up the price of cars. That's for sure.
Well, what's going to happen is you're going to have a surge in demand because of the number of vehicles, of consumers' vehicles, that are going to end up destroyed in the storm. So there'll be a surge of demand from all those people that are suddenly, they weren't in the market, but now they're in the market because now they have to replace their vehicle that was totaled. There's going to be a shortage of supply to handle that surge in demand, because the supply that was on hand will also have been destroyed by the storm.
And let me show you one thing, Dad. We crunched the numbers. This guide back, it's actually in the top of the description. Justin on our team actually crunched the numbers, that the brands that have the most number of new vehicles in this area that's going to be impacted by Milton are Ford with 5,300 vehicles, Toyota with 3,800 vehicles, Hyundai with 3,100, Chevy with 2,700, and Honda with over 2,000. These are the brands that are going to be impacted the most by this natural disaster.
Oh, absolutely. And so if you're going to have that surge in demand and you're going to have a shortage of supply, we know what happens. We see it happen in every industry. Flights to get out of Florida that were normally $500, $600, $700, $800 suddenly became $3,000 because the airlines knew that they had people by the throat. So greed is a terrible thing that takes over, as opposed to saying, hey, we know there's a natural disaster, get on a plane, we're not even going to charge you, we just want to get you out of the area. Greed takes over. So we know that if dealers lose their inventory, and then whatever inventory they can get their hands on, we know they're going to overcharge for it. That's just the way dealerships, it's just the way businesses work when there's high demand and low supply. Now, look at the areas that are about to get struck. Tampa Bay, Orlando. Those are huge areas for rental cars and auto auctions. Orlando has one of the biggest auctions around. God knows how many of those vehicles could be destroyed. How many rental cars could end up being destroyed? It will be the size of this disaster, impending disaster, on the automotive industry in that part of Florida and most of Florida is going to be beyond comprehension. Because this is one of the biggest storms in the history of time. Okay. And the amount of flooding and storm surge. And so it'll be apocalyptic.
Well, I don't want to go that far, Dad, because it hasn't happened yet. Hopefully it's not. But the impact of these natural disasters is very real on the local market area, and I think could potentially be real more broadly here as well. I want to go back to the one comment around the auto auctions closing and things like that. This is going to impact not only all the new car prices, but it's going to impact used car prices. Used car prices in South Florida or Central Florida, in Florida in general, are going to go up. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see used car prices in general tick up a little bit. The latest data we have on the used car market, for what it's worth, actually shows that wholesale used vehicle prices, I'll pull that up on the screen, have trended down a little bit after the prior 2 months of gains. But like natural disasters like these that are going to impact tens of thousands of vehicles will show up in some of the national trends. And another theme to this, Dad, there's going to be a lot of flood cars that are going to be trying to be sold. And I think that's a huge, it's a tremendous thing for people to think about before they buy a used car. They need to make sure that they get a pre-purchase inspection, especially in the wake of disasters like these.
There will be flood cars sold in parts of this country where no one would ever expect to find a flood car.
Help us understand how that happens. Like, are cars going to get flooded out and then they're going to get shipped to Minnesota and people are going to try and sell them in Minnesota?
The cars will get shipped to Minnesota. They'll get shipped to Texas. They'll get shipped to New Mexico, Arizona, Southern California. They'll get shipped all over the country. Okay. And so thousands of unsuspecting customers are going to end up with vehicles that had originally been flooded in Florida and Georgia and North Carolina and South Carolina. It's it happens. It's unfortunate. Wherever someone can figure out how to make a buck in situations like this, scrupulously or unscrupulously, they do it. And so yeah, there will be people in Phoenix that will end up buying a used car, and they'll be shocked to find out 6 months later, oh, there's a ton of mud behind the dashboard. Yeah, you're going to see that all over the country. Now, the other thing that wouldn't surprise me in Florida,
Yeah.
we know that Florida is the wild, wild west when it comes to dock fees. I would bet dollars to donuts that what we think are already outrageously high dock fees are going to go even higher. And the reason they'll go higher is they'll blame it on the shortage of cars or whatever it is. And people are going to have to pay it because they need to get a car. This will just be another area of greed that we will see in Florida. I would not be surprised if suddenly the average dock fee, which in Florida is around $1,000, if that were to jump to $1,500 to $2,000. So that's another thing that consumers are going to have to look out for. It's just absolutely unfortunate what could possibly be happening in the next few days.
All right, let's switch gears down. Let's just talk about used car market update in general. We got the latest data from Black Book just the other day. We have the Manheim data that I just referenced a moment ago. It seems like wholesale used car prices are starting to trend down. The Black Book data shows about a 30 basis point decline week over week in wholesale used car values. So are we going to see a little end of year buyer's market in the used car side of things? We've been talking about how in the new car market, really gear up for December, folks. New car deals are going to be had. They're already out there at the moment, but it seems like wholesale used car prices continue to go down a little bit. We've got that both from Cox Automotive, Manheim, and Black Book here. I know we've said that new used car prices are going to kind of normalize where they currently are, but this is a positive indicator for consumers, isn't it?
Check back in 2 weeks. Okay,
Yeah.
Because in 2 weeks, that decline will be an increase.
And you think that's going to be a result of the natural disasters?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know how many cars were destroyed in Hurricane Helene.
Yeah, a lot.
Okay, well, you're going to have back-to-back storms within 10 to 12 days of each other. And the number of cars impacted this time might be greater than the number of cars impacted the first time. So used cars will become more valuable, whatever used cars are available. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see the wholesale values go up. And if you read further in that article from Black Book, the number of vehicles actually being sold at the sales, has declined because dealers are holding out for higher ceilings or floors, actually, as to what they'll take for their inventory. So dealers are holding out because they know the longer this goes, the greater these disasters are, the higher the values of these vehicles are going to become. So I think if you check back in 2 weeks, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you're going to see a spike. Hopefully it's only a temporary spike, but depending on the number of cars that are destroyed, the spike could end up being significant because, as we know, there's already a shortage of good quality 2 to 3 year old low mileage used cars. So what's going to happen moving forward? I think you'll see a spike in those values.
I just want to reference one thing I said earlier. We have a guide about the impact of Hurricane Milton and 122,000 vehicles being in the path of that storm, new vehicles being in the path of that storm. I just want to clarify, that's not within 30 miles of Tampa. That's actually the full path that Milton is projected across the Florida peninsula. So we have that data, 122,000 new cars that are going to be impacted. Let's do a quick little experiment, Dad. Go into the car search. Give me 1 second. I need to get a Tampa zip code, which would be 33592. So let me come here. What did I say? 335.
I thought you said 33592. I thought that's what you said.
Good thing one of us has a good memory. let's update the car search here, Dad. Let's not look nationwide from
Okay.
that zip code. Let's I don't know. Let's look within 50 miles.
Yes.
There's our 87,000 vehicles for sale within 50 miles of Tampa. And
That new and used, right?
that's new and used. Yeah. So let's just go
Mhm.
new real quick. 50,000 new cars within 50 miles of Tampa that are going to be impacted by this. And let's click in. Let's look at this first Ford Explorer here. Let's see. Drum roll, please. 74 days supply, 41 for sale. So not huge numbers on something like a Ford Explorer, but these are the vehicles that are going to get impacted.
And you know what's interesting? That's a Gator Ford, where literally, depending on how deep floodwaters get, you can come to Gator Ford and actually get a Gator with your Ford. I mean,
Scary thought.
It's gonna it could end up so ugly. It is.
Look at this. There's 1,734 2024 Ford F-150 XLTs within 100 miles for sale right now of that vehicle. So of this dealership. So I mean, yeah, there's going to be a lot of vehicles impacted by this. It's going to be messy, to say the least, and should have an impact both on the new car side and the used car side.
Absolutely,
for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, Dad, let's switch gears. I hate to go here early, but let's do it. Our favorite segment of the show.
Really? You've got to be kidding me.
Honda, major recall, man. Major
Wow.
recall. 1.7 million vehicles are being recalled in the United States for a steering wheel jam. The Acura Integra, Civic, and CR-V are the most affected models. Over 10,000 warranty claims about this since 2021, and now 1.7 million vehicles being recalled. You can see it right here, Dad. Improperly produced steering gearbox worm wheel that swells while driving, increasing friction and steering difficulty and heightening the likelihood of a crash. Another 240,000 vehicles are being recalled in Canada, and nearly 60,000 in Mexico. 2 million vehicles. The vehicles impacted, Dad: the 2023 to 2025 Acura Integra, the Civic Type R, CR-V Hybrid, CR-V, HRV, the 2020 all through 2022 to 2025, the Civic hatchback, the Integra Type E. Like, this is a big recall, Dad. This is actually going to require customers to go into the dealership.
Oh yeah,
get this replaced and fixed. This is a big recall from Honda.
That's a huge recall. Almost 2 million vehicles in North America. I hate to say this. I don't want to rain on Honda or Acura's parade, but that would be enough to make me consider something other than a Honda or an Acura.
Really?
And think about the time involved, to schedule, I don't know, 1.7 million vehicles to run through service departments throughout the country. That's going to be difficult to have the parts that are needed to take care of the recall. That's going to be difficult. It's just the amount of time involved between the customer having to get their vehicle there, and then the time it takes for the mechanics to actually do the repair, and then the customer having to get back to it is just, it does not bode well. And I'm serious when I say, I see a headline like that and I instantly think to myself, well, that's pretty much every one of their relatively inexpensive, extremely popular vehicles. I'm no longer interested. Thanks very much. I'll have to go look at another brand. So I think that could have a really, really negative impact on Honda moving forward.
And it's kind of surprising this comes on the heels of, remember, Toyota and Lexus.
Yes.
Physically, manually have to replace over 100,000 engines between the Lexus LX and the Toyota Tundra. These are, that's significantly fewer vehicles. It's 1/17th or 1/20th the total number of vehicles impacted. But still,
but the cost will be greater to replace 100,000 engines than it will to replace the worm wheel inside the steering wheel complex. So yeah.
No, totally. That's spot on, Dad. However, these are really big, impactful. I mean, these are brands that people think about when they, when you think reliability and affordability, and they are having these major mechanical issues. It kind of brings the question. These are recent vehicles, right? The LX, the Tundra, obviously the model years I just listed out for Honda and Acura. We've talked about vehicles that have been produced during the pandemic. we're kind of on the other side of that now. But there is, in general, I don't want to say a lack of quality, but I think there's a lot of recalls going on right now. Some companies trying to compete with Ford for the #1 spot on the NHTSA recall list.
I think you can say in general
Yeah.
that overall, quality issues for most brands have reared their ugly head much more frequently recently than perhaps in the past. Now, and I don't know if that's because they're not doing thorough testing prior to releasing these things. I don't know if some of it's an engineering issue, if it's just a rush to find cheaper parts in order to hold the total cost of manufacturing down. I am not sure, but whatever it is, every one of these damn manufacturers really does need to look into it, because it is creating bad publicity for all of these brands.
Oh, it absolutely is, Dad. I want to remind everyone, back on CarEdge.com, click on the research tab, choose a vehicle you're interested in. Let's go to that Honda. Where is it? Honda. We'll do the Civic. When you search for a vehicle through the CarEdge Research Hub, you're going to land on a page that gives you all the information you need to know about what it's going to cost to own that vehicle. You can click on cost to own. You can see pricing information for all the various trim levels, other deals that CarEdge community members and our concierge team have gotten for that particular vehicle, lease specials, specs, warranty. And then the reason I came here, Dad, is because on cost of ownership, you can go to things like maintenance, and you can see what the expected likelihood of a major repair is during your time of owning that vehicle. And Honda, Toyota, et cetera, those brands have typically done really, really well, but we update this data pretty frequently. And so I'll be curious to see if the cost of ownership continues to go up as these vehicles become obviously more technologically complex. We talked about that yesterday with the fact that Mercedes-Benz is trying to build a video game hub in your car. And obviously that's going to make owning the car more expensive as components fail. But also, as maybe we realize more and more, I don't know, like, MBA people running these companies saying, okay, we have to get costs down, costs down, costs down. No wonder we see the recalls. No wonder we see maybe the quality of the products worsening, and then ultimately cost of ownership going up. So quick plug for what we have, but also maybe the numbers are going to get worse.
Well, can I share with you a quick story?
Yeah.
You know that the lease on my my Mini comes due next May, so I really don't have that many months left. What is it, 7? And so I started thinking, well, am I going to get another car? Should I just rely on Lyft and Uber? And the more I thought about it, even though it's more expensive to own a car, I think I would want to have the freedom of being able to not have to rely on others in order to be able to get somewhere. So I'm seriously considering getting another vehicle. I was literally on our research hub yesterday, researching different models and different vehicles to start getting the information I need in order to make an intelligent decision about which direction I want to go as to what type of vehicle I want to go. It is, for somebody that spent 43 years in the industry, and for me to find value in it, it's free. Use it. It's there. It's actionable. It gives you insights into what you could be looking at down the road with whatever vehicle you are considering purchasing.
CarEdge.com/research. Let's come to the chat, Dad, from Baron earlier in the show. Thank you, Baron. Consumers will get hammered. Dealers will write this off on their insurance. In a state where insurance is already high, consumer rates will go up. So this is back with regards to what's going to happen in the state of Florida with the impending hurricane. Yeah, I really do think the loser here is the consumer. This is actually a net positive, I think, for a lot of dealers that have an oversupply, and honestly for the OEMs too. They get a bunch of cars totaled. Like the insurance company is the one holding the bag, and then the insurance company is going to make more money by increasing rates. Yeah, well, how many insurance companies are going to decide that they don't really want to have a future insuring vehicles in Florida? Moving forward, the number of severe weather situations, the increasing number of vehicles that are damaged or totaled, at a certain point, the insurance company has to say, we can't collect enough in premiums to cover what we have to pay out
to our insureds. So I would not be surprised moving forward if it becomes even harder than it currently is to get homeowners insurance and automobile insurance in states that are highly impacted by major natural disasters.
I've got a question for you, Pops, as well as the community. If you Google search car insurance calculator space CarEdge, our car insurance calculator pops right up. At present, this just gives you information based on your age and the vehicle that you're looking at. I really want to see us actually update this to also take into consideration location. I think that is the next missing piece on this. Curious what you think. Because we can put in how old we are and let's do calculate car insurance. And I can see here what the expected car insurance cost would be for me based on various credit criteria and age ranges. I really think it would be interesting. And I guess my ask to you and ask the community that's with us right now is, do you want to see this broken out by state as well?
Absolutely.
CarEdge insurance calculator. I think that would be valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be. State, geographical regions. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I think the cost of insurance for this Honda Civic is going to be significantly more in some states and significantly less in others.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Let's keep going through the chat here. We've got from Rich Diana. Thank you, Rich. Hey, my new Nissan smells like fish.
Freshwater or saltwater fish.
From Fly Chomper Fly. Thank you, Fly Chomper Fly. Called sticky steering. Dealers and manufacturer helped. Okay, interesting. So there's a term for all the 2 million Hondas that are currently dealing with steering issues. We've got here from Captain Mo. Thank you, Captain Mo. Zach, my girlfriend is buying a new Kia Telluride in Maryland. What do you guys think is a good out the door price? She won't stay. She wants it to stay around 40,000. Could you pull some up? Absolutely. Let's have some fun here. So we've got Kia Telluride.
Yes.
Which are selling below MSRP. Gone are the days. Yeah, gone are the days of overpaying for Tellurides. Let me see here. Let's see what price data we have. Drum roll, please. That's a used one. That's a used one. Here's a new one. So we've got one new one that a CarEdge, this is someone that used our CarEdge car buying service. They got $3,600 off of the dealer's advertised price. So that's one benchmark. The other place that I'm going to go, Dad, we'll go to caredge.com and we're going to go to /buy. So we can go to the car search real quick. And we're in Maryland. So let me do this. Let me go to Maryland, Kia, Telluride. We want to look at new ones. I'll click here on a 2024. Drum roll, please. Target discount $1,500.
According to Space, you should be able to get 8% off of MSRP these days.
And Space, Mario in the chat, if you don't mind, let's update our target discount back on the CarEdge car search. Pretty pleased with the latest data we've got. Captain Mo, I hope that helps you out. From Mookie, Dad, Ray's car search is great content opportunity. Ray, take us through your search. Get it done, Zach. Dad, this is true. No, I'm not kidding. We should, Mookie, great idea. We need to document. We got to get the camera turned on and you got to talk us through you buying a car. I don't think tons of people are going to watch it, but the people that do are going to learn a lot.
Yeah, the 3 people that watch it are going to be so appreciative.
I do think so. I really do think so, Dad.
Yeah, well, maybe, at this point, we can target such a small audience that maybe we could just start doing one-on-ones for people.
Dad, I think that would be really insightful for our community to watch you go through the steps of figuring out what car you're going to buy, your research process, ultimately negotiating it, getting it. So we can talk about that after the show. From Baron, thank you, Baron. Ray, get a 1970s old Cutlass.
Convertible. I like that idea. I do. I love a convertible. There's one problem with a convertible today, and that is the fact that I wear hearing aids. And when the top is down and the wind whistles over a hearing aid, well, the noise that goes into your ear is like it's an unnatural, ungodly sound. It's a shrill that. So I guess if I get a convertible again, I'll have to stop wearing hearing aids. And every time somebody says something to me, I'll just go, huh? What?
From Seven Deuce. Thank you, Seven Deuce. Ray, get a sports car. Regular cars only go vroom. A sports car goes vroom, vroom, vroom.
That is true.
Says go sports car. I'm thinking bright yellow. You know what I saw yesterday, Dad, here in New York? An Audi it was this morning on my run, an Audi RS6 Avant. And I thought of you. I don't think we can afford that, but would be cool.
That would be cool, and literally, I saw an ad for an Audi RS6 Avant, and I thought to myself, that is still the one car that I would overpay for, because God knows I don't need to spend $130,000 for a car. But that is one car that I would, if I had the money, I would gladly spend, because when we rented one for the day, that was the most fun vehicle I have ever driven, ever. I enjoyed that so much, and I know I would enjoy one in the future. So perhaps, if I hit the lottery that I never buy tickets for, then I will be more than happy to avail myself of an Avant RS6.
Could be in your future, Pops. Dad, I want to just acknowledge why I'm here in New York. I was doing a little talk earlier today about YouTube, which was super, super fun. So there you go. You can see the slide I had up on the screen. Whose face is that? That's you, Dad. That's you, man.
I am like horse dung. I am everywhere. Yeah.
You are indeed. And I guess I'll share with everyone, I have a YouTube channel. It's just my name, Zach Shefsky. I'll share that right here. If you're interested, my talk, I'm going to get it published over on my YouTube channel. I don't post often on my personal YouTube channel, but I am going to publish. It was recorded, so I am going to publish that talk. It was really cool to be able to talk to a bunch of entrepreneurs about how you and I have used YouTube to help build our business, CarEdge, CarEdge.com. So really, really fun. That's why I'm up here in New York. And you can even see there's a video from 3 years ago, how much money we've made on YouTube. So we've been very transparent. We'll continue to be transparent.
Probably made more since then.
So yes. Yeah. No, I mean, the business has made millions of dollars from YouTube. It's insane.
How long of a chat was it?
Maybe 10 minutes.
Okay. So is that like it's not a TED talk. So would that be like a Fred talk?
Yeah. And all that money that we get from YouTube, which we greatly appreciate, goes back to funding the business. So all the research tools you see, the car search, the car buying service, all of that. We really, really, I mean, I know you were joking about an overpriced hotel room. It's the hotel where the event's happening. Like all of the money goes back into building the business, and it's really rewarding to see it.
Well, they invited you to be a speaker, and they didn't cover your hotel expense. I need to have a chat.
I'm pretty sure I'm paying. Yeah.
Oh, you're paying. They should be paying. They invited you.
I'll pass along the message, Dad.
Yeah, please do. Tell them Dad says.
Speaking of which, folks, if we can help you out with anything, please, CarEdge.com. We got that brand new homepage. Site should be loading faster today. We found a bug yesterday. I found a bug yesterday. Really, really was driving me nuts. I couldn't figure out why the site wasn't loading faster. So that's fixed. The team's doing awesome stuff. You look happy and healthy and beautiful, Pops. We'll be back.
I look fat. Can we just say it? I look fat. Okay. I look short, fat, and bald. But yeah, I feel good. Yeah. So I guess I'm living proof that short, fat, bald people can feel good. And
Dad, let's help Ashley really quick. She set us up, and I promise we did not pay Ashley to ask this question. She says, "What do y'all do?" Seeing this for the first time, Ashley, we ask ourselves that question.
Yeah.
Every single day. Ashley, my dad and I started CarEdge.com, CarEdge, almost 5 years ago. It'll be 5 years in December. And the whole idea, Ashley, is my dad sold cars for 40 plus years. And so we wanted to level the playing field for people who are going through the car buying process. So if you go to the website, which I encourage you to do, we can help you buy a car. So that would be here on the homepage, or you can go to our car search. On the car search, we give you all sorts of information that can help you negotiate. If you go through our website, you're going to get scripts for how to contact dealers, for what information to provide them with, for how to negotiate the best price, how to get dealers to compete, etc. We also have our research hub. So those are, like, if you want to know how much it's going to cost to own that Toyota RAV4, we have that. And we also offer, get out of there, a car buying service. The car buying service is white glove. You pay us a fee. We handle all aspects of getting that vehicle in your driveway for you. And then we have a variety of other ancillary services as well, like the extended warranties, if you need help selling a car, refinancing an auto loan, and insurance coming soon. So Ashley, thank you for asking the question. I feel like I pitch it all the time, but we have an awesome business at CarEdge.com.
And may I say that a lot of what is available is absolutely free. And then stuff that we have to pay for in order to be able to bring it to you folks, well, those type of things we ask you to pay for to help defray the costs of what we have in order to get that information. So there's free stuff, there's insights that you can pay for, and then if you want us to buy that car for you, we've got that too, and you can pay for that.
From Matthew, Dad, you got to do a little, kind of let Matthew in here. He says, Ray, sell the watches and buy an RS6 Avant. If you sold all your watches, how much you get? Maybe $5,000? Maybe. You know,
just because I have 41 and I'm waiting on number 42 to arrive doesn't mean I have any real money tied up in these watches. Let's say on average that the average amount spent was $300. Well, that's $12,000. Okay. And
it's not like you could turn around and sell them for $300.
Well, wait a second. So what do you think the markup in a watch might be? Okay. So let's say the moment I spent $300 for that watch and I got that watch, it was probably then worth $150. So maybe I have $5,000 worth of watches on a wholesale level. What I need to do is run all my watch boxes down to Florida and leave near the shoreline.
Yeah, to be very clear, it's not like we've built a really cool business, but yeah, we're not buying.
What's on my wrist today is a Charles Hatton, ladies and gentlemen, that I got through the Watch Gang, which was a watch club. And then I paid, I think it was $99 every quarter. They would send me a watch. Now they guaranteed me and assured me that the value far exceeded the $99. Well, far exceeded might have been, it was really $149 retail. Who knows? It's not an expensive watch. It's just a way to build a watch collection without spending a whole lot of money.
This is why we pitch the business. This is why we pitch the business as much as we do. Ashley, thanks for being here. Yeah, we agree. It is super cool. Thanks for being a part of our community. Check it out. We're here and happy to help. There's also a community forum, caredge.com/community.
Yeah.
So the team and our incredible community can help you out there as well. Okay, Dad, I got to run back downstairs and keep participating in this week's festivities. Thank you so much for your time today. We'll be back tomorrow for more of CarEdge Live at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time. We've got a new video dropping over on the CarEdge main channel this afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern, so tune in for that. And Deal School is brand new, and it is out there. So please, folks, go use Deal School. Tell your friends about Deal School. Google search Deal School, and it'll pop on in the screen. Dad, I love you.
I love you as well. I am certainly proud of you and so glad that you got to give a Fred talk today. That's the first before you get to a TED talk. You know, it's like alphabetical. So you got to give a Fred talk before you get to that TED talk. But I'm so proud of you for having done that today.
Much love, Pops.
I love you too, handsome.